Hello, I hope that you're having a good day. If you hear a lot of heavy breathing, it's because there's a bunch of cows right over here with me. I'm putting mineral out today. We're going to talk about mineral, what minerals the cattle need, and kind of how mineral can change and stuff like throughout the year. Also going to, hey, quit chewing on the gator. I have the gator. You guys are on the gator, and the cows associate the gator with feed. There's also mineral in the back of the gator. But I believe that's Annie. She's chewing on the gator, so. Okay, I'm gonna put it out for you guys, okay? If you're new here, my name is Erin. Welcome to the ranch. We are about 1 month out from heifers calving, and so mineral's always important. Like, always need to have mineral out and stuff, but as the next couple of months, our mineral needs and somewhat gonna change, and we're gonna talk about that and stuff. But like right now, I'm just doing basic winter mineral maintenance. So there are a few minerals that cows always need: salt, potassium, phosphorus, calcium, magnesium. I'm not an animal nutritionist. I'm not going to claim to be an expert on this and stuff, but I have a variety of different things that I put out for the cows so that they can get their mineral needs. And then when we get into spring and we have green grass, which will be like May, then we will change over to a higher magnesium content mineral, and through lick tubs, cake. Most of the country calls cake range cubes. We call it cake. And then, so we switched to a higher magnesium cake. So today we're going to do mineral. We're also going to talk about some of the things I do to help like my chickens and my goats and my sheep and all the animals, and kind of how everybody gets their mineral, because I have so many different types of species here on the ranch. And so, yeah, let's just do it. There are blocks in the back of the gator. I just put out a tub, so they're all surrounding the tub. I will show you guys what the tub looks like, but let me grab block containers. Excuse me, girls. Okay, so I will save lick tubs, right? Empty lick tubs, don't throw these away. These are a great thing to have. I use them in the gardens to harvest stuff. I also use like mug tubs, but they work great for mineral. So I'll just put the blocks in here so they're not sitting on the ground. If it rains, well, it's not rain season, it's snow season, but they will collect some water. They do break, but you can get a few uses out of them, which is great. Excuse me, girls. I always like to have my mineral next to my water, because they have to come in to drink water, and so it's a great place to put your mineral. You can use mineral to kind of move cows around on summer pasture and stuff if you're trying to get them to graze a different area or something. But wintertime, when they're getting hay every day, they have one source of water. This is where I put their mineral. So we're gonna do the cows. I'm also gonna do the scrubs, which will be my like next round of feedlot steers and stuff. And so I've got blocks for everybody. I also have stuff for the chickens and goats and sheep and everything too. So salt blocks. These are 50-pound blocks. This is just pure salt. So blocks, mineral, everything comes in a variety of different things depending on your area. And so your local or your state university that has an agriculture program, your extension office, your local vet, they can all help you determine what you need for your mineral program. So just pure salt. Super important that cows have access to salt. Actually, all livestock, I mean, okay, again, not a nutritionist, don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that everybody needs salt. I'm just dropping it in the tub, the empty tub. Those blocks weigh 50 pounds. And then I have a trace mineral block. It's a red block. So this is American Stockman brand. I got it from my local feed store. It is Big 6 mineral salt for all classes of beef and dairy cattle, pigs, and horses. And so it has more salt in it. That's kind of, I think, what the bulk of the block is. And then it has manganese, iron, copper max, zinc, iodine, and cobalt. So you can get different blocks with different things in it. They have blue blocks, they have selenium blocks. The blue blocks have more cobalt in them. So just, again, depending on like what your mineral needs are. I do pull the sticker off if I can get it off. Like, doesn't matter, but I do pull it off if possible. So again, a 50-pound block. It doesn't look like it should weigh 50 pounds, but it does. Excuse me, girls. Excuse me. Excuse me. Okay, thank you. Excuse me. Can you move? Can you move? You're not like super friendly or anything. So I would usually put the trace blocks, we call these trace blocks, just a trace mineral block. I usually put them in one tub and just put the salt blocks in another. Excuse me. I don't want to get kicked. Come on. Move, cows. All right. Hey, I'm right beside you. Excuse me, cows. Excuse me, cows. Wyoming is not typically selenium deficient, so some parts of the country can be selenium deficient, and that causes white muscle disease, which can produce like weak calves, especially. That's kind of the most noticeable symptom of it. It's just like they're weak. We're not typically, like I said, selenium deficient. Our soil has enough selenium in it that a lot of our grass, most of our grass has sufficient amounts of selenium. So not to say that I can never like feed a block with selenium, but I don't typically have to. Quit chewing on the gate, or these guys have been fed today, and they do have some like residual blocks still out here. They are not dying, but you know, new stuff, it's fun. Cows are super curious. So okay, so that's the blocks for the cows. Oh, you can also feed loose mineral. I don't typically feed loose mineral. I do usually just do tubs and blocks, and sometimes I'll like rotate and just have them do blocks, and then I'll switch to tubs. They do tend to go through tubs faster because there is molasses. That is the bulk of the tub is molasses. I'll show you guys. But they, of course, they like molasses. It's a little treat. But tubs also come in a variety of different things. So like I said, when we switch over to when having green grass, then we'll do magnesium tubs. You can get different protein levels in your tubs. Tubs that are higher in protein and some that are just more like focused on mineral. So all kinds of different things. Your local feed store, veterinarian, that type of thing can help you with that. Or you can Google. There's a ton of information, obviously, on the Google. Hi, Annie. This is Annie. I don't know that you guys are super familiar with her. She is a coming 3-year-old. She was a heifer last year, meaning she had her first calf last year. Well, she was in the corrals because they will pull the heifers in for calving. You kind of find out like who's super friendly and who's not. And she's not a bottle calf or anything like that, but she is one of the more friendly cows just naturally. She has a very nice disposition. I really like her a lot. She won't let me like pet her or anything, but she's always very curious, always like right in my business. She's a good cow. And she's young, so she's gonna be here for a long time. So that's Annie. Are you itchy, 64? I don't really think you should be doing that on my mirror. Can we not? Can we not? That's probably like $1,000 if you break that. Let's not do that, okay? Can I pet you? Can I boop you? Hi. Hi. I'm gonna bring back cake later, but I don't have cake right now. Next, I have some treats for the chickens. So my chickens are unfortunately like not laying right now, not laying super well. And that is just not great timing because, you know, there's an egg shortage everywhere. And even, it didn't really like affect us here in Wyoming until just recently. And grocery store brand eggs are now $6.50 a dozen. And I don't have hardly any eggs. Luckily, Michelle's chickens are laying great. Hers are younger than mine. My flock is getting kind of old. And once chickens get to be like 3 years old, they get to the point where they start consuming more feed than they are producing. And so I fear I am really at that point. I do have some younger chickens, but we're getting like maybe a dozen a day. And I have a lot of chickens. I also have too many roosters because I've been hatching my own chicks, which is fun. I like that. I will keep doing that. However, I am going to have to buy some pullets, which are sexed female chicks this year because I need to get more hens and more eggs. And so normally, naturally, this time of the year, chickens quit laying eggs, right? Day length, cold, up and down of temperature, which we deal with a lot here in Wyoming, can affect, I'm trying to talk, can affect egg production. And so there's a couple things that I do to help that. One is sunflower seeds. So they always have access to feed because I have a large feeder, and so they always have, it's outside. So when they're inside at nighttime, they don't have access to feed. They don't need to eat 24 hours a day, in my opinion. So they do have access to that, and that has sunflower seeds in it, but I will feed them extra sunflower seeds with the shell on for a little bit more protein and a little bit more fat. Sunflowers are oily. They contain fat, as we know. So I feel like it helps. So I will feed that starting kind of this time of the year and into once we get into longer days and warmer weather, then the sunflower seeds that are in their feed is sufficient. The feed that I get from Dakota Mill and Belle Fourche, I think, contains like 100 pounds of sunflower seeds for the 2,000 pounds. I get it in a 1-ton tote. And they're also going to get a flock block. All right, Purina flock block. It doesn't matter what brand. I bought this. It's not paid for, not sponsored, any of that. So it has 9% protein, lysine, methionine, crude fiber, ash, calcium, phosphorus, salt, and sodium. So again, a bunch of different minerals in it that will help them. And you can see it. It's got plastic on it. I obviously have to take that off. But it's got it's got corn and sunflowers and different stuff in it. So does it tell me like what the ingredients are? Yes. Okay. Cracked corn, barley, Milo, whole wheat, cane molasses, sunflower seed, and then a whole bunch of other stuff. So we're going to put this out for them. The deer will also really like it. And then these are it's just sunflower seeds. I do like a couple scoops a day for them. And this I just put on the ground. Like their feeder's not on the ground, but for like a treat, I just put this on the ground so they can do their scratchy chicken thing. It is very common to put a light on for chickens. I have done that in the past. It's supposed to day length is important. That is part of their productivity and stuff. There is a light in my chicken house. Most of the time when Jeff or I go in there in the morning, the light gets turned on. I turn it off at nighttime after I close them up. I kind of believe in letting chickens do their natural thing. So in the fall they'll molt, egg production will slow down. It kind of just gives them the winter to have a break. And then this kind of year, I really want them to kind of start picking up in production. And so that's why I'm doing some things to help their nutrition. Next up is my chicken house goats. I also have goats in the multi-species and sheep and stuff too. I have sheep over here too. Man sheep, as Grace calls him, is still here. And so my young girls that I don't want bred are here with the goats. My girls that I'm sure they're already bred by now, they're in the multi-species. So this is a sheep and goat block. Sheep and goats need different, so you can get a block that's combined. So this is a combined block, but sheep are more sensitive to copper than goats are. And so if you have them mixed, you need to make sure you get a block or mineral that is safe for both classes. So again, protein, fat, fiber, calcium, phosphorus, salt, iodine, manganese, selenium. This does have selenium. We don't really typically need that, but it's such a small amount, it's not gonna matter. Zinc, vitamin A, D3. Again, corn, dried grains, molasses, the standard block ingredients. Excuse me, goaty goats. There you go. Enjoy. Oh yeah. They already have salt. They have run out of their mineral block. They do have salt. Chad, how are you doing? Can I still pet you? I can't pet you, that I know. Hey, bud. Are you getting some mineral? Can I pet you? Are you feral now? Yeah, you're a big kid. Chad was one of this year's bottle calves, and what often happens with bottle calves is they become not so friendly once they go out on pasture, and that's fine. He is a steer, and so I always knew that he was going to end up in the feedlot. He was a very sweet bottle calf, but he was destined for the feedlot from the beginning. I will love him and give him a great life while he's here, as I do with all of my animals, but that is his purpose. And so it's fine that he's not like super friendly anymore. I'm sure when he goes on grain, like a lot of times they get friendly when they're on grain. So this right here, the pasture I'm in right now is where the horses are at, the scrubs, and the bulls. You can see the bulls, they're over by the barn. They don't really care about me at all. Everybody's just kind of chilling. Nice sunny day. As you saw when we pulled in, some of them were laying down. That is sign of a content cow. So I've got two. These are a different type of lick tub. These are crystal licks, so they're metal. This one had salt in it. Still has some salt in it. We're gonna fill it back up. Because the horses are over here, I have to make sure that whatever mineral I'm feeding is safe for horses. This stuff is. I asked. This is what I like always buy, but I just like double checked. Tubs, some of the tubs I've had in the past, they were not horse safe. So these guys kind of always are on a different mineral plan than the cows. Right now, everybody's getting the same blocks though. It's very slippery out. We have a lot of ice right now because it's been cold. Hi, Chad. It's been sunny. Like our weather's up and down. So we have a lot of ice underneath the snow. Hi. Can I pet you? Are we friends? Do you remember me? I saved your life. Do you remember? No, doesn't care. He's like, I'm a big kid now. Right here I have 3 purple tag steers. I think the other there's one. That one laying down might also be a purple tag. Next week my next batch of beef gets shipped, and so these guys will go on grain and get started on the finishing process next week. Number 3, you don't even look like you need grain. Look at that belly. Look at that belly. What are you doing, Max? You look good. And there's Ferguson. This pile will go into the garden next year. My feedlot steers still have blocks, and so they don't need a refresh right now. They always have a trace mineral block and a salt block, just kind of like everybody. Sometimes I will throw a bloat block in with them. They don't always like need a bloat block, but sometimes if they just kind of seem to like, you know, seem a little bloaty, or like if they're, especially when they like first go on grain and stuff, like we'll kind of throw a bloat block in just kind of as like a precaution. And there are specific feeding instructions on those bloat blocks. I think you typically don't feed them with salt because they do contain a lot of salt, and if you have too much salt, then they retain a lot of fluid and stuff, which also doesn't help like the bloating situation. So just make sure you're reading your labels on your mineral blocks. Okay, I've got one more sheep and goat block for the multi-species pen, and I'll kind of show you all the things that I feed in here for everybody. I don't need your help. Thank you. Okay, in the barn, this is the corral that the goats will stay in at nighttime, and the sheep if it's like crappy weather and stuff. So they're not in here all the time, but alpacas, sheep, goats, donkeys all have different nutritional needs. And so I can't have this around. I think it's not horse safe. So trying to find a mineral that's like equine, cattle. I don't have any cattle here. Well, sometimes I do. I've had bottle calves in here. That's safe for everybody is difficult. And so kind of what I have to do is different pelletized feeds. And so the emus, they eat their own feed. It is Missouri. I get it from Chewy. It comes on auto ship. It's great. It is for ratites. Ratites include emus, ostriches, rheas. I don't know what else. I only have emus. So it's specially formulated for them. Alpacas also get a little small pelletized feed every night that has their mineral in it and protein. This is Forest. It's breeding season, so they're a little spicy right now. And they always like want to peck stuff, so they think my camera is like super interesting. Yes, you're very fluffy, very handsome. I'm not your girlfriend though. No, come on, she's down there. Go, go. I think this is Forest. I can't always tell. I can tell when they make their sounds. So the females drum. And I thought I just heard that one drumming. Would you stop? They get real like they stalk you a lot in this time of the year. I haven't found any eggs yet. Excuse the dust, but this is the emu feed that I get. And then we just keep it in buckets. Here's the... I don't have an alpaca label, but there's the alpaca feed. And then this is what I'm going to start feeding the donkeys. So it is just, it's 14% protein, 7% fat, 21% fiber. So at nighttime they do go in a corral, and I will feed them a small amount each. I have hanging buckets. Probably start that tonight. We'll see how that goes. Donkeys don't really need like high fight or high protein or anything, but like this time of the year, just everybody, like we've been on forage for a long time. The door's stuck. I could push it, but can I get it back? Nope. It doesn't actually need to be closed. The cats go in and out of there. So after being on hay for like a long time, and obviously it's been a while since we've had grass, and it's going to be a while, I like to make sure everybody's getting some good nutrition this time of the year. And then also, again, the ups and downs in temperature and stuff can be hard, and we kind of have a long time of that left still. I'm gonna clean out the back of my gator here, fill it up with cake, and we'll go cake the cows. What's up, barn kitty? It's a nice day. Everybody's out and about. I have some roosters over here, and let's see if we can see. There's another cat on top of that hay bale there. These are the cats that live in my garage. So apparently we're going on a walk. So I always put the tailgate up, you know, when I'm driving out here so I don't lose all the cake. And then I have to get out and open the tailgate. And I had to like hurry and get through the gate because it's real icy. Yeah, there's your cake, guys. It's so slippery. Please be careful, girls. And then we have a few stragglers up here over the hill. So I have a 5-gallon bucket with me. So we'll give these guys some too. Hey, Gretchen. Are we coming? The calves are not as interested in it as the cows are. I do have a couple calves here. I have more calves over here. They sometimes come. Ideally, I typically feed like right after feeding hay. Jeff fed cows this morning. He fed hay. But knowing that I was going to do this, like we didn't cake. So they're kind of spread out. It's easier after you roll out a bale of hay to feed them cake because then they're all gathered. So inevitably when they're spread out, and especially like on summertime, you know, when everybody's everywhere, not everybody gets cake when I feed it, but yeah, usually right after feeding hay, then you cake them. This is Minnie. Minnie has very symmetrical markings. She's very easy to recognize, and she's also a coming 3-year-old. She will have her second calf this year. Her calf last year was named Winnie. She was born in the corrals. I filmed it. The chickens were her assistant, which irritated a lot of people, but I can't really do anything about the chickens. 39 yellow, that's calf. They're not going to be calves for much longer. They're going to be yearlings. Let's see if we can find Gretchen. Hey, be nice. Oh, incoming. I said find Gretchen. I meant Gertie. I saw Gretchen. So cake. Let's talk about cake. Like I said earlier, most people call it range cubes. Depends on where you're at in the country. It is mostly like a pressed grass. It comes in, you can get it in different sizes. This is kind of like what our standard cow cake is. This is a broken piece, but when I was filling the back of the gator, I was like, oh, this one's perfect to kind of show you what's in it. So it's like a pressed grass grain. It's got, this one definitely has some like corn in it. And then it's got, the main purpose I feed this for is protein. So it has protein, it has fiber. You can get it with higher levels of magnesium, like I talked about. It probably has got some trace amounts of like calcium and all the things, right? Some vitamins. I get it in bulk. I don't have a label for it. Hey, there's Cracker Jack. So I don't have a label for this one specifically. I think this was 14%. It's kind of just like what they had. As we get closer to calving and during calving and stuff, I will feed a higher protein level. So usually around like 20%. If you do feed higher protein, you have to make sure they have some hay in their bellies before you give them a lot of protein. At least that's kind of like what Gilbert always said. So if you're doing high protein cake, feed your hay, then feed your cake. You want their like digestive system going. And I know, I mean, it's kind of like, I don't know, do they get heartburn? I don't know. Not a cow ruminologist. Is that the right word? No. Anyhow, so yeah, I think that's 14%. From when I ordered it, it's 14 or 16%. So it's not the highest protein that you can go. You may even be able to get like 22% protein. So yeah, they get this a few times a week right now. And then as we get into calving and stuff, they will get it more frequently. And that's just to supplement their protein, because hay has not, our hay typically here has like 7 to 10%, 11% protein. You can have your hay tested to find out exactly like what your protein level is. Ours doesn't like vary that much from year to year, so that's kind of what average is in our part of Wyoming. And so they do need a little bit more protein, although cows don't need a ton of protein because they take low quality forage and they turn it into high quality protein. That is their superpower. So anyhow, let's go see if we can find Gertie and give her some little scratches and see if she'll eat some cake from me, and then we're done. They're following me. I don't have any more cake. Well, I have like a tiny bit in my bucket. Hey, excuse me. There she is. She's right in front of me. You are not the cow I'm looking for. There she is. Oh, she's busy being a big cow. Is she gonna let me pet her? Probably not. Jeff and I were talking the other day. They have like been super worked up all week. The cows have been. So when I've been feeding and Jeff has been feeding and stuff, like, especially on days where it's like nicer, which like it's nice one day and then it's like really crappy and cold and stuff, but like on our nicer days, like everybody's wound up. Everybody's like bucking and kicking and like doing this, and it's like, guys, can we not? Like, you guys are all super pregnant. And like, I would just like to get out of here and not have them be all riled up. So I'm just gonna like take my time, and hopefully they lose interest in me because I don't have any more cake. But like, it's icy in spots and we're so pregnant. Excuse me. They've also been fighting. Like, can we just calm down, please? I've got about like 10 to 14 days of like some pretty craptastic weather still coming up. And then hopefully the forecast shows that it's going to warm up. And so right now my corrals are full of snow. We can fix that. We can take the bobcat in and clean them out and stuff, but what I need to do is I need to do my pre-calving vaccinations, and I also need to pull my heifers off and separate them off and put them in corrals for calving time. So we're going to be on calf watch here very shortly. This is real icy right here, so I'm trying to go real slow so that we don't, I don't know why, like, I don't have any more cake. Again, they're all like wound up on these really nice days. It's not springtime yet. So heifers will start calving. Technically due date is like mid-March. Cows is mid-April, but we kind of go on calf watch like first week in March. And so, and I'll do the same. Cows, I'll start really, I mean, they get fed every day, so they get checked every day. But we'll start really looking at like udders and stuff kind of like first, and anticipating calves for the cows first week in April. And, you know, it just kind of depends on the weather and how how that affects calving, because that can, you know, put cows into labor with barometric changes and weather patterns and stuff. So long-term 45-day forecast looks real wet for calving heifers. So we'll see. That's a long ways away still, the 45-day forecast. But yeah, I mean, we are getting close to calving, so I am excited for that. Would like to be able to get my corrals cleaned out so that, you know, we can calve. And obviously I need to like be able to get, you know, I anticipate that I will end up pulling a calf from the heifers. Hopefully, like I don't have to assist anybody, but you know, we prepare for that, and so I need to make sure that I can do that. They're gonna follow me all the way up to the ramp. They're all standing at the gate by my house. Thank you guys for hanging out with me today. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and you know, it's just kind of like one of those things that has to be done, you know, periodically here on the ranch, putting mineral out. It's nothing new. It's not really like exciting content, but it is just the things that has to be done to take care of the cattle and all of the animals here on the ranch. So, and because I have so many different types of animals, there are so many different feed requirements. So anyhow, again, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you joining me for this journey, and I'm really excited for what the next couple months brings, again, with calving and springtime and planting gardens and starting seeds and snow melting and probably a spring blizzard and hopefully not pulling calves, but you know, like I said, anticipating that we're going to be doing all those things. And then hopefully it's real wet and we have a lot of moisture and we get to cut some hay this summer. So again, I appreciate you guys. Have a great day, and I will see you next time.